Today I'd like to review the Seiko SBBN007 quartz tuna. Now for me it means a lot because this was my gateway drug into Japan domestic watches back in around 2006 when I first became interested in them. Now you have to understand, back then watches on the internet weren't commercialized. You didn't have Hodinkee advertorials. No one was trying to sell you anything. Back then on forums like the very old Seiko Citizen Watch Forum, people really did get together and they tried to exchange information about these, at the time, extremely difficult to obtain watches. And slowly but surely, through dealers like Higuchi and Seiya, they became available, and I ended up getting a used one for around $300 US. And I just want to give that background before I go any further, because watches on the internet are so different now, and it seemed like a much more unique experience buying it back then. And here we have the classic tuna can dial. This is pre-Marine Master print and pre-hideous Prospex logo. I think this is the best version. The classic tuna handset here is polished, and the issue I have with that is it reflects whatever's in front of it, which is why I just prefer matte. Sadly, there are lots of scratches in the center, and that's because this is a domed mineral crystal. Because it protrudes so much, it picks up scratches easily, and I'd like to get an aftermarket flat crystal. This may not mean much to you now, but back then in '06, getting a watch with a Japanese day date was quite the score because they were so hard to come by. And it still, weirdly, means a lot to me. And here's the star of the show, the shroud that protects the bezel. In this case, it's satinized. Here you can see the crown, which, while not signed, is really grippable and protrudes just enough to be easy to use. The lugs are super short, so it accommodates even smaller sized wrists with ease. The shroud is held in place by Phillips screws, as you can see here, which are really easy to remove when you need to take the shroud off to clean up the bezel when you get debris inside of it. Many other tuna cans, unfortunately, require you to use an Allen key, which increases the likelihood of you damaging the screw. The bezel itself is nicely scalloped, so it's super grippable. And here we have the black bezel insert, which isn't original. Originally it was silver, as shown here. I got bored of it and switched it out from an SKX007. Now, to some, it may come as a surprise that this 300-meter tuna can is not actually the first generation of the 300s. The first actually came out in 1978 and was made till about 1985. That model was called the 7549, as it was a reference to the quartz movement. With that first generation ending in '85, this new one didn't get released until 1991 with the new 7C46 quartz movement, which has always been exclusive to tuna cans. And if you look at the two pictures here, the main difference that really catches the eye is that the first generation had a black bezel and the second generation had a silver bezel. Afterwards, the so-called third generation covered both, one with black bezel and one with silver bezel. And last, we have the movement. The 7C43 is a high-grade 7-jewel quartz movement that's been around for decades, and it's shown itself to be very, very durable. It would be a big mistake to look down at it just because it's a quartz movement. And that's about it for this video, and as usual, thanks for watching.